You know. All right, we're live from California.
All the way live.
We're live. Let me turn on this light. Oh, wow, that's a little bit too bright. Okay. Hey, welcome. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Thanks for the comments in the chat already. Oh, can you hear us? We have this mic because last time we had a bit of mic issues or sound issues. So we're trying to fix that. We got a whole setup over here. So hello, can you hear us? Just if you could put in the chat, just let us know if you can hear us. Much better sound. Okay, yes.
Nice. Good job.
Thank you. Okay, this is good. Alrighty, y'all. Well, we're just gonna, sounds great. We got thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, so we're just gonna get started. And first of all, hello. Thanks for being here. We are going to start off with, if you could put in the chat where you're tuning in from. That's always super fun. Better sound. Thanks, Alice. Good. Yeah, if you could put in the chat where you're tuning in from, and then we'll get started with the questions. We'll jump into it. Los Angeles. Yes, LA. Beautiful.
Las preguntas. Questions. That means questions.
Canada, from Toronto, Canada. Cool, JT.
Hey, Canada.
Nice. So, Canada.
Get it.
Okay, awesome. Well, cool. Yeah, so this live is going to be Colorado. Yes. Nice, Alice. All right, so we're going to have this live just the way we've done the past ones, which is if you have a question, please put Q at the front just so we can easily read through it. And we'll just be going through the questions in this chat and some that were sent to us. Our intention here today is to talk about anything that you want to know, which in the past 2 lives has been Blueprint Experience, Atomic Health Party, fun facts about us, if you have any questions. And then we'll do a little plug for Atomic Health Party at some point, which is a 6-week course that we're launching because the cart closes tonight, which means tonight is the last chance to join the first cohort, and we have a really cool group of people. So we'll answer a few questions about that and just let you know what's going on there. Nice upgrade with the microphone. Thank you, Cookie Cupcakes.
Yes.
We're putting in the work over here. All right, so let's start off with some cool questions. And thanks for joining us. Do you drink tea or coffee with the Blueprint protocol? I can speak to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we do. So tea, I love my tea. Every morning I have a green tea, like I have a pot of green tea. Generally a brand that I get from Daiso. It's like this wonderful, lovely green tea. And then during the day, focused on anti-inflammatory teas like hibiscus tea, which is such a beautiful color and very tart. Lemon balm is another great anti-inflammatory tea. And mint. Mint is great as well. So I love those. Definitely drink those. And then coffee, just focused on coffee without much in it. Maybe almond milk without any sweetener, so unsweetened almond milk. Yeah, the combination is nice, but I know I have some caffeine, and that works fine as long as I'm having it before noon-ish. What about you?
I like to drink coffee like right before I go to bed. Okay, that was a joke. That was a joke. I actually haven't really drank coffee or tea much most of my life, and the tea that I am drinking is inspired by Sierra. So when in doubt, make sure you turn to your buddy and go, is this okay? So.
All right, and Ursula's here from Germany. Wow, 2:30 p.m. So cool. Okay, Jules has a meeting. That's okay, Jules. We'll catch you next time. Okay, next question is, can you talk more about the third meals and how you prep if you prep? Thank you. So for the first 90 days, we had what was it called? Oh, the beet salad was the third meal we most often did. And salads are super easy. So just having the arugula and then boiling the beets. You just peel the skin. Once you boil them, it's easy to take the skin off. Chop those up. And the way we did it is we would just have the greens in the fridge and then the ingredients prepped and ready to go. So for the third meal, You just put the salad together. You just have the greens, throw some stuff on top, and it's easy peasy, ready to go. So that beet one was really easy. The Buddha bowl is the same concept. You have all your ingredients ready. You can just piece it together. And what was another? You like the beet poke
Beet
salad?
poke, not every day though, because there's, that mango going to put you into some serious carb crisis. But I think maybe twice a week the beet poke is just fine.
Yeah, but just doing the prep work ahead of
time.
Mainly in one sitting or the night before, prepping it for a couple of days rather than remaking it every single day. Okay. Alice says, what are your birthdays? You want to start?
Sierra's is October 11th.
Nice. I was born in 1993. So I turned 30 this past year. And Jesse is just turned 65. We are both Libras. Are you a Libra Scorpio cusp?
I'm Libra Scorpio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Libra Scorpio cusp. Same birthday as my husband, which is cool. And Jesse is 65, so we're 25 years apart.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Great friendship of all time. Okay. Brian has mentioned, the cookie cupcake said Brian has mentioned during a live stream that he doesn't drink regular water, only mineralized water. Oh, interesting. Do you know anything about this or what this means? My assumption is he's drinking mineralized water because of the minerals in it and probably how it is treated, or it being pure water with minerals in it. I've seen some other people on the longevity, the rejuvenation Olympic leaderboard that also only drink mineral water. They drink this like Pana water. I think there's always a concern about drinking water and it having things in it that aren't good for your body. So looking for like pure sources of water and then the added addition of minerals is like a plus. We have not been doing that. I mean, I always have trouble buying water because you're like, what? Should I buy air too? Like sometimes it just feels a little much, but yeah, I mean, it seems to be working for them. It's probably not the thing that's going to move the needle the most, but yeah, there are folks that are doing it to get the best water source. Yeah. Okay. What are your current eating windows? Yeah. So current eating windows, good question, JT. Current eating window for me, I have been experimenting a little bit with eating slightly earlier in the day. So like 10 a.m., just to kind of see what it's like to have 3 meals instead of 2. So I have currently been starting around 10 and ending latest by 5. So ending food and water by 5. But I will say what I like the best in my experience of 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day or 3 meal a day is 2 meals a day, just because it tends to be easier. So I like having bigger meals, but one at like 11 or noonish, and then the other that's more the dinner time, like around 4 or so. So that's been my eating. What about you, Jess?
Well, in the first 90 days, we did the 3 meals. And then at some point past the halfway mark, we did 2 eating meal windows. On this particular iteration of the protocol, I'm going to, before I do my workout in the morning, I'll have a protein drink, and then I'll have one big meal that will end my window will end like at 1 p.m. Because I'm really trying to refocus. Number one, my sleep. I really committed to getting to sleep earlier, but I'm also looking to do a little bit more weight loss, just a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jesse and I have different goals these next 90 days. I'm looking to maintain, and Jesse's looking to lose weight. And so we're trying to do what we can to access those reserves. And one of the ways is extending his fasting window to be longer. So
yeah,
Jesse, the intention is for him to do a 20 hours of fasting, 4-hour eating window. And then experiment with, we'll talk about this in the next episode of the what is now 180-day challenge. First episode is out for the 180-day challenge. We're back in it. So there'll be 13 episodes from this Sunday. There's going to be 13 episodes total of this next 90 days. And for Jesse, we're going to focus on also doing more of a low carb diet, or a mildly ketogenic diet.
Keto, yeah.
So yeah, just so that it is easier to be using fat as a source of fuel. Okay. Nathan said, love you guys. Love you, Nathan. Hey, back from Philly. What's up? All right. We have a question. Is Blueprint high cost? I can answer this.
Mm-hmm.
So it totally depends how you do Blueprint. If you are going to do everything that Brian is doing, you're taking all of the tests, the supplements, eating the meals, and have certain tech, it's going to be very, very, very expensive. In particular, testing is quite expensive. So even the speed of aging tests are about $300 or so. And then the supplements can be up to $800 if you get all of them. So that part is expensive. But the basis, the foundation of Blueprint, which is simply a whole foods, he's doing plant-based, but a whole foods diet, getting to bed at a consistent time every night, and exercising regularly. All those things are low cost or no cost. So the foundations of Blueprint aren't expensive at all. It's just these additional things which aren't necessary to lower your speed of aging. You don't need to have 8 sleep mattress cover, to get the best sleep ever. You can do that with free ways of doing it. So it depends how you want to take it, but it can be very low cost. Okay. Anything to add?
Just that Brian's process is totally geared towards his specific needs. And I think what Sierra and I have been doing is doing Blueprint as it is a good fit for us. And so I think we just recommend the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever fits. Okay. So what is your cost of foods and supplement for a month of the protocol? Yeah. So Valhalla. Okay. Nice.
Odin.
It's a little bit hard to answer this question for the supplements, mainly because the way that we did it is we bought all of them up front and it was the cost of $800. But then the bottles have different quantities. So they start to run out at different speeds over time. But I would say probably about at least $100 a month for supplements. That's for all of them. Yeah, that seems like a fair estimate. And then for groceries, yeah, about $100 a month is what I was seeing.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit more expensive when buying things like the protein powder and the collagen peptides, the specific brands that Brian was buying. And that's what we did. We just bought the brands that he had, and the cocoa flavanols, like these are quite expensive. So those, if you're getting like regular Whole Foods plus those things, it tends to be a little bit more expensive. So like $100 a month for a single person for food, and then $100 a month in addition to that for supplements. But if you were just doing like eating whole foods, eating vegetables, taking only a couple of supplements, like we're currently taking omega-3, B12, and iodine, that is going to be a significantly lower cost. Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Copy that.
All right. Prometheus said, happy to see you and Jesse doing a live episode. Got the flu. Oh, no.
Oh.
And missed on what should have been my first Blueprint meetup today. Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh.
It's okay. There will be other live Blueprint meetups. So they're going to continue.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, I hope you feel better soon. Okay. David says, my wife and I are on a strict whole foods plant-based diet recommended by Dr. John McDougall and Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. And they say cut out nuts and processed oils to lose weight. Yeah, and definitely with the processed oils for sure. Okay, cool. Thanks, David, for sharing. We got someone saying hi from Brazil. Hello. Question. Okay. Thanks,
Todo
Vanessa.
bem. Todo bem.
Todo bem. Are there any major health issues you are doing Blueprint as a way to lower risk markers in older age? Alzheimer's, dementia, cardiovascular diseases, etc. I can speak to this.
You can speak on my behalf.
Yeah. So, Vanessa, this is a great question because obviously different ways of eating and different types of exercises can be more helpful for preventing certain types of diseases, especially brain diseases. Fun fact and back like context on my life. So my father is 60 years older than me. So I was born when my dad is 60. So my dad is 89, turning 90 this year. And so ever since I was young, I have been very focused on how to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia because that's something that my father is now experiencing. And so in particular, part of our interest in the whole food plant-based diet is because of the research around Alzheimer's, dementia, and other brain-related diseases. So our emphasis on plants comes from that. And we love this book called The Alzheimer's Solution by like the husband and wife duo team who have research that have been done on huge studies over long periods of time. They tap into that research a lot. And they also have worked in Loma Linda, which is one of the blue zones. So we reference their research a lot around whole foods plant-based for the brain. And then dementia, cardiovascular diseases. Yeah. And then cardiovascular diseases, a way that we're aiming to lower risks for cardiovascular diseases is with our workouts with sprints in particular. So making sure, yes, we're working out, we're in zone 2, we're burning fat. We are doing resistance training, making sure that our body has muscle and it maintains muscle over time, especially as we age. But also sprints to really help the strength of our heart, because that's the part that's missed a lot is the sprinting. And sprinting doesn't have to be the way we think of sprinting, like Usain Bolt. It's just getting our heart rate up more in the zone 4, zone 5. So, the 80% of max heart rate, 90% of max heart rate range. We're doing sprints. It looks different for the two of us when we're sprinting, but we're just making sure we're doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do like 30 seconds of sprinting, then relaxing, 30 seconds of sprinting, slow it down like that for our heart. Okay. And let us know how this is going. If you want shorter answers, longer answers, we are here. We're here for you. Okay. Anything to add to that?
Just, I entered the protocol with lots of health issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, circulation problems, edema, just all kinds of stuff was going wrong. So the first 90 days really I saw a huge shift and transformation in my overall health, flexibility, mobility, blood sugars going more towards normal. Just the next 90 days is going to be more of it. So if you know someone who already has 1 or 2 or 3 health issues, just let them know I'm here and I'm a witness. Can I get a witness? Yeah.
Hallelujah.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Yes. Natalie says, thanks for the hearts, y'all. That's so sweet. Natalie says, what changes have you noticed in other aspects of your life outside of health? Ooh, you want to start off with this? Aspects outside of your life, other than health.
Other than health? Oh my gosh. The ability to leave my apartment and be more social. I am by my work, I am a performer. I'm a performing artist. But after I'm done performing, I am a hermit. And even to the extent where there are many times where I could visit my kids and my grandkids and friends, but just because of my health, my poor health, I just wasn't. The shift is I'm out and about, let me shout.
Fun fact, this is actually a musical live. So about every 30 seconds, we will be singing you a song. Just kidding. Okay, so for me, I would say it's mainly just having the energy to do things. So even in small ways, noticing, oh, I actually have the energy to do the dishes or vacuum or organize something. And before, I just felt more tired. And so it was harder to do even basic things. So that has probably been the most lovely, is the added energy and feeling regulated. Catherine asked, noticed on your videos you use saunas. Yes, we are a big fan of saunas, which is something that Brian has not incorporated into his routine, and his doctor mentioned that they haven't found enough evidence on saunas to justify him doing it. But there is actually quite a lot of research on saunas, particular in Scandinavian countries, on how it reduces cardiovascular risk. And Simland, who's big into longevity, he's also on YouTube. He talks about utilizing saunas a lot, and I have found that it has completely changed my skin. I have horrible. Well, I shouldn't say horrible. It's just I have very acneic skin. I get acne really easily. I break out all the time, and saunas have really helped me clear up my skin. Actually, in addition to eating well, but it just like it's pushing, you're sweating, so it's pushing everything out, and it really helps create a nice glow. So I've loved it for that. But that wasn't your question, Catherine. Catherine was asking, do you also do cold plunges? So we haven't been doing cold plunges in the traditional cold plunges
Right.
way, where it's a bathtub or a barrel and you get into it and it's a certain temperature, mainly because I just don't have access to a cold plunge unless I turn my bathtub and added ice into it, which just takes a little bit of time. But I do take cold showers. So one thing that we've been doing is, well, the saunas are separate. So I'm in my own sauna area in the women's side, but it'll be like sauna for 15 minutes. And then there's a little shower right next to it. So I'll get right out of the sauna, go into the shower, and immediately turn it to cold. So it's going from hot exposure to cold exposure, really moving that blood. And then you walk out feeling like a newborn baby. It feels so good. It's like like a dopamine explosion in the brain. So yeah, that's how I've been doing cold exposure, is with cold showers. Okay. Do you have anything to say on that? Have you been doing cold showers?
It's not my favorite thing, but I'm just following your lead, Sierra. No, I mean, the first time Sierra was explaining that's what we were going to do, I thought, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But I have. Whenever I've gone to this spa, more times than not, I've done it. And it's just so darn uncomfortable. But I'm just leaning on the knowledge of the science behind it. If Sierra says it's good, I'm going to give it a shot. So, yeah.
Well, it feels good. Well, it feels bad, but good. I see what you're saying. It's a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Valhalla says, road to 100K subs. Wish you guys luck, and thanks for answering my question.
You.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we are on the road to 100K subs. This has been so fun, though. Even at 15K subs, it's like so awesome. Everyone's so involved. We love it. Cookie Cupcake says, sorry your father is having to deal with that. That is so thoughtful, and it is A-okay. Appreciate that. All right. Sharon says, what did you find was the most challenging part to follow of the blueprint routine? Ooh, the most challenging part. Want to kick this off? What was the most challenging part for you?
Hi, my name is Jesse, and I'm a compulsive overeater. You could give me every possible reason for me to follow the blueprint, but I'm always going to be a compulsive overeater. It's just something that I live with. It's just like someone who's an alcoholic or has a compulsion or addiction to something, and that's always not even always in the back of my mind. It's a lot of times, even during my workouts, my mind will start thinking about the food, and it is not thinking about super veggie or nutty pudding or anything like that. But I'm in a buddy system. I have tools within this protocol. I'm connected to people in my group, in my 12-step group, So that, I think that's always going to be the toughest thing for me, just knowing that I have a history and a condition, but it's not the big story. The big story is self-care, self-compassion, and living the best, healthiest life that I can be. So I'm in it to win it.
I agree. The food is the hardest part for me as well, because I'm also a compulsive eater. That's how Jesse and I met at a 12-step overeating program. And I'll give you a specific example of how it is challenging. Today, for example, I was at a Aztec dance ceremony, which is a part of my husband's life and my life, and there's food everywhere. So there's just tamales and all this meat, and it smells delicious and it looks delicious, and it's in these giant trays, and everyone's eating all together, and everyone's eating basically everything. Those are the times where it's really hard, where all I want to do is participate with other people, and I want to do it the way that other people are doing it as well. And doing something different can feel really awkward, or it can feel awkward for me. And that is when I have to text Jesse or call him or distract myself in some way, or just remind myself it's just today. Just today, we're going to give this a try. Also, watching documentaries on plant-based stuff recently has also been helpful, and just a reminder of where food can come from. But yeah, I would agree. The food part has been hardest for me. Okay, thanks for the hearts. David said, by the way, my wife and I are enjoying your videos. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Yeah, we enjoy putting them together. Okay, we have a question about Brian mentions doing 4x4 for his HIIT protocol. Ooh, which seems to be the same as what Peter Attia recommends. Do you guys do that on your HIIT training days? 4x4. I actually don't know what the 4x4 is. So if someone wants to put in the chat. Oh, I'm guessing the 4x4 is 4 minutes high intensity, 4 minutes rest 4 times or something like that. I'm just going to go with that assumption that it's 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off, probably 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off. Yeah, I'll say with the HIIT stuff, high intensity. So having our heart rate up, in the 80% zone. Okay. Did you say? Okay. Well, I'm just going to go with that assumption. But getting the heart rate into the 80% or even 90 to 100%, and you're starting to get in those anaerobic states. Yes, 4x4 is 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off for 4 rounds. Okay, awesome. Thanks for confirming.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think that is a great place to aim for, the 4x4. 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off. The one thing that is tricky is just maintaining the 80% to 100% heart rate zone for 4 minutes. I know I've found that difficult to just keep it there, because when you're hitting that anaerobic state, it's painful, right? You're running out of oxygen. Your blood doesn't have enough oxygen to sustain what you're doing, and you're starting to hit this very uncomfortable place. So that has been hard for me to do, the 4x4 as outlined. I would say where we've started and now are improving over time is with the 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. And then when we do our HIIT exercises, trying to extend that a little bit each time. Okay, let's try 45 seconds on, 45 seconds off, 1 minute, so on and so forth. But 4x4 is a great place to aim for sure. In the long term, I would love for us to do that.
The cool thing about wearing this Whoop band is when we're doing our HIIT workout, I know that I'm trying to get my heart rate to a certain place. And I know that when Sierra is on her markers, it does not look like me. So again, everybody comes into this at a different level of physical proficiency, and just finding out where you begin, and then taking it from there. Just being mindful about how well you're getting to those markers makes all the difference.
Yeah. Can I talk about your zone 2?
Yeah.
So with Jesse, the thing we've been working on is how do we actually keep him in zone 2? Because, it can be very easy for Jesse to get to the 80 to 90 to 100%, ridiculously easy. So we actually have to work on lowering it and really slowing things down so that he actually is in zone 2 consistently. Otherwise, it's just really hard on your
Yes.
heart and your body. Yeah.
I just tell me what to do, Sierra.
Jesse is a rock star. Okay. Natalie says, great questions, y'all. These are so thoughtful
thank you.
and amazing. Okay. Natalie asked, any interest in exploring gut health and diversity of microbiome in future phases? Love this question. So on point. And Natalie says, beyond eating plants, there's also research on the importance of plant diversity, and Blueprint seems to lack diversity. 100% agree. Yeah. The eating plants that are diverse. So having, not just 5 plants, but eating, 20 or more plants in a given week, that definitely would be ideal. Also, eating plants that are in season and local would also be great. That would be like our ideal situation. So we're trying to implement that with our second or third meal. I'm probably just going to be sticking to 2 meals. And that can look like, if we have something like the super veggie where it's broccoli, cauliflower, and whatever else it is, adding additional veggies on top of it. Like maybe we have some jicama, and then we bake a sweet potato and we have chunks, and we have, a couple chunks of that, and, this other thing, but adding additional vegetables with different colors, and they each bring different properties. So yes, Natalie, love the idea of exploring that more. And yeah, I could see us exploring that in a video in the future. Okay. Daria says, love you guys. We love you, Daria.
Yes.
Okay. Sharon says, how supportive is your husband to doing the Blueprint protocols? I'm guessing this question is for me, since you don't have a husband. Yes, Sharon, great question. Yeah. So my husband does not do the Blueprint protocol with me at all. Like, definitely not. He is eating his own food, and he actually went to a trip to Mexico, and he came back and he was like, I protest. I cannot eat this like lentils and broccoli anymore. And he went to the grocery store, bought a ton of stuff, and ever since then he's just never eaten anything that I've eaten on the Blueprint again, because he's like, I've had enough of this. I will not live this life. I would say the thing that I really appreciate is that he has been very understanding and giving me space, and just being like, okay, the entire cupboard is filled with protein powder, different seeds, nuts, and all of Sierra's stuff. Oh, the freezer is entirely filled with Sierra's food prep. And he's given me a lot of grace for that. So I appreciate it. It would be cool if he did it with me, but that's just also not reasonable knowing him. So it's just like, yeah, I'm doing my thing. He's doing his thing, and that's great. Okay. All right. These are wonderful questions. So I have another question. Long term, would you keep to 100% Blueprint, or would you modify it to be 80-20 for social settings like family meals during the holidays or events? Ooh, you want to take this? Would you modify it like long term?
Long term, yeah, I would.
How would you do it?
Well, first of all, I mean, it's been a radical change already, and I've made decisions in the first 90 days and in these days here to modify just whenever it was absolutely necessary. So make sure that a restaurant that I'm going to has vegan selections, and if they don't have, then they're gonna have some vegetarian selections. I want to make sure that I'm eating the things that will keep me on track. So I'm not sure. I just imagine that we'll adapt when necessary, and keep to the 3 pillars: good sleep, good nutrition, good movement.
Yeah, this is a great question. The social settings part is, whoa, oh no, how did I do that? Yeah, the social settings with family is a tricky one. I feel like there's so much pressure. Not that, what's up with the thumbs down? I'm doing it somehow. Oh no, wait, doesn't make any sense. Okay. Anyways, I feel internal pressure in family settings. The superpower. I feel very supported by my family, but internally I struggle with it. but I see myself slowly but surely transitioning to plant-based as a long-term thing. I never expected that. Um, I really like fish. I like eggs. I just didn't think that I would move towards plant-based full-time, but that is what is starting to make more sense for me. So I think long-term, we shall see. One day at a time. Well, I don't need to think like 10 years from now, just one day at a time. But as of now, I'm seeing myself maintain that boundary even with family and just starting to communicate that like, hey, I'm plant-based. I eat plants. So as
Yeah.
long as it's a plant, that is good. Whole foods.
I think it's a will see, more shall be revealed.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I would change in social settings that I haven't done is I've gone into social settings kind of hoping that it's going to work out or bring in my own food. But I haven't, for example, made like 3 meals or something to be shared with others. So I know I'm going to have my plant-based stuff. That's how I would do it moving forward. It's like I would actively make food that everyone could enjoy, that I also could enjoy while being like within boundaries. Okay. Daria asked, do you take melatonin every single day like Brian? No, we have not been taking melatonin. Mainly our reasoning for that is the conflicting viewpoints and studies on melatonin. Andrew Huberman says, don't take melatonin, don't do it. You know, take magnesium threonate, which is incredibly expensive. He's like, you know, I've got this cocktail of different supplements to take that helps with sleep. But then you have Brian and his team who say, based on the research, melatonin is great. So Andrew Huberman's point freaks me out a little bit because he basically talks about how taking melatonin can disrupt certain systems like hormonal processes. So it makes me a bit hesitant. So as of now, we have not been taking melatonin. Any other comments on that? Okay. Do we have a Whoop group? Nathan asks. No, we don't have a Whoop group. Should we make a Whoop group?
Let's.
That would be fun. Yeah, that would be really fun. We love Whoop. Whoop is great.
Whoop.
We'll tell you about all the tech, our true, honest opinions. Whoop is solid. Prometheus says there will be a lot of pushback from my family doing Blueprint. More on the sleeping schedule, but I'm in 100%. Oh, okay.
Way to go.
Yeah. Even with pushback, who knows? Maybe your family members will start to shift their behaviors as well. Okay. Leanne says, I tried the super veggie and it wasn't bad. Do you get tired of it every single day? Do you get tired of it every single day?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. It got pretty old. But you know what made it refreshing every time? The power of kimchi goes a long way. It was getting kind of exhausting, but you could really spice it up with sauerkraut or kimchi and you know, just the fact, the value that it was there at the ready was a good value in those first 90 days. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. Even Brian's super veggie, like tasting the version at his house, which is in the finale of the first 90 days, just tastes real bland. Just tastes bland. But they put chocolate on top, which makes sense because it melts, like the chocolate chip things melt, and it makes for an interesting flavor. But otherwise, it just was very bland. So we reference this awesome book by Samin Nosrat called Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which is this awesome cookbook that basically talks about the finest restaurants in the world. Why does the food taste so good? And she talks about how, because it has the balance of salt, something salty, something fatty, something sulfate acid, and then heat, if that's relevant. Mm-hmm. So we try to apply that same concept for every meal that we had just to make it more enjoyable. So the kimchi is adding the acid component. Super veggie does have apple cider vinegar and lime, but adding like fermented things on top adds a nice kick. The salt, could add olives, could add actual salt if you're eating salt. And then the fat, we were adding avocado on top.
Yummy.
Just to add, like, obviously there's the olive oil as well that you put on top, but the avocado is just another fat source. So that together, like fermented food, avocado, and something salty, that made it taste a lot better. Yeah. And then switching that up too, so it doesn't get boring. Okay, question. Is your course intended for 100% plant-based diet, or can those of us who aren't ready to give up meat yet still benefit, participate? Definitely, it's not going to be 100% plant-based. We'll have different options. So it'll be like, here's a plant-based version. Here's one with meat. There might be a third option depending on depending on dietary preferences of the people in the group. But yes, it's open to all eating styles, and it's going to be what works for you. Really, the intention of the 6-week course is we're meeting everyone where they're at, and then we're going from there. Changing habits, when done well, is generally a slow, gentle process, and that tends to lead to the best results. So we're aiming to take baby steps in whatever direction you want to head. Whatever your vision is for yourself, our goal is to help you get there in baby steps. Okay. Vin says, how do you play all are welcome?
Whoa. With a cut capo. You get a cut capo from Shub or some other, maybe a Kaiser capo. You put it on fret 2, and then you play a D pattern. You play everything on a D pattern on the guitar. Just send a note to Sierra, and Sierra will forward it to me, and I'll give you the 411 on that.
I have no idea what any of that means. I'm going to put my email in the chat. And if you want to ask about those things, I will send them to Jesse. That was a cool music person moment.
Welcome in this place.
Oh, okay. Question is, besides the super veggie and nutty pudding, what meals are you eating? So right now, we're mainly eating those 2 meals still, but are just adding some stuff to it. So the nutty pudding, we've been eating as more of a smoothie rather than a pudding. And the reason why is because we were food prepping the nutty pudding before, and it's just kind of sitting in the fridge, and it would change color a little bit, and it would get a little not that nice when you get to it like day 4 or 5. So we've switched up to having it as a smoothie every day, food prepping all the dry ingredients, having the berries ready to go in the fridge. And then just boop, boop, you just pop the stuff into like a NutriBullet, blend it up, and it's ready to go. So that stayed the same, just more liquid. And then the super veggie has stayed somewhat similar, but we've added greens to it. So some arugula and some additional vegetables like sweet potato when we're feeling like it. And that's mainly been it. Yeah. We've kind of given up the beet salad, which we used to do, just because each meal takes more effort. So we've just been consolidating into 2 meals a day. Vince said, love you guys and what y'all are doing. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you, Vince.
Prometheus says your husband will come around. We'll see. We will see about that. But actually, it's interesting. So I'm very compulsive eater. It's hard for me the reason I'm into all of this health stuff is because it's really hard for me to maintain it. So I'm constantly having to figure out, how do I stick to these routines? Because if I don't do these things, I will become a depressed, sad version of myself that just sits in the corner. I just know this about myself. So I have to be on top of it so that doesn't happen. My husband is the opposite. He eats the exact same foods. He goes to bed at the same time. He's just chilling. He doesn't really need to work at it, and he is living his best life. So we shall see. Maybe he will come around.
Right now, we're just concerned with us coming around. On the blueprint.
Prometheus says, I have tips for eating out vegan, even in small towns of Texas. Cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, put it in the chat, Prometheus.
Nice.
So you can read it out. Jen said, Jesse, you're an inspiration. Yes.
Yes.
Love from Brazil.
Thank you.
Okay, question. When you guys said you might add some keto to the diet, you do mean adding meat. So this, are you okay if I speak to this?
Yeah, please do.
This has been the big question for us.
Ribeye. Just kidding.
So for Jesse, we're looking to have him do a mildly ketogenic diet for this next 90 days to help with the weight loss. A easy way to do that would be to add meat, or it could look like, it could be land animal or it could be fish. There also are plant-based options. Like if we really wanted to do plant-based, we could. I mean, one way to do that is there's like a book like this that we're actually just looking at, Vegan Keto, and there's a list in here of just all of, like in the beginning when you do keto, it's hard, or at least for me, in the beginning when I was experimenting with keto, it's hard to remember which things are low carb or not. So basically there's just like a big list in this book of all the vegetables and fruits and protein sources that are low carb. So we're still debating this. Basically, right now for Jesse's side of things, we're looking at either small fish, so fish that are less likely to have mercury contamination and toxins, compared to large fish like swordfish, shark, these kind of big fish that tend to have accumulated a bunch of toxins over time. So the small fish is like smash, salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herrings. So those are considered like the neutral fish protein sources. So maybe sardines, or Jesse might go the plant route if we can get enough protein in. So that could look like something else. We're exploring it. But yes to the mildly ketogenic diet for Jesse. Whereas for me, that's less important because I'm focused more on maintenance. Okay. Can you give an example of the added keto to be more fat burning than carb? Can you give an example of the added keto to be more fat burning than carb? I'm going to guess what this question is. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but feel free to just add a few details just to make sure I have it right. But can you give an example of the added keto to be more fat burning than carb? So I'm assuming this means like just explaining how keto would burn more fat than carbs. If that's not it, let me know in the chat. But assuming that's the question, so when we reduce the amount of carbs in our diet, and if you think about macronutrients, carbs, fat, and protein, those are the three macronutrients. If we are eating a big chunk of that as fat, moderate protein, and we have low carb intake, so we don't have that many carbs, that forces our body to use fat as a fuel source. So instead of using carbs as a fuel source, we use fat as a fuel source. So this happens automatically when we're fasting, right? So we stop eating, our body uses up all the carbs, and if we don't eat anymore for a while, then we're going to start accessing our fat reserves. So the process of ketosis happens already in longer fasts. You can continue that fat burning process by making sure you have a low enough amount of carbs so that you're still using fat as a source of fuel. So a keto diet is a way that a lot of people lose fat more quickly. And it has been recommended by doctors like, what's our guy? Jason Fung.
Yeah.
Jason Fung has done a lot of work with diabetic patients in particular, having them on a keto diet. For his, he mainly had meat and cheese as the main food source and some other vegetables. But it has been shown to be really, really helpful in just using fat storage, losing weight, moving on from there. So that's that.
Which is a good fit for me because the first 90 days, without even knowing it, I was losing an average of 2 pounds a week. I didn't even know that until at the end of the 90 days. So just looking towards some of that flavor of keto to maybe give me a bump to maybe go an average of 3 pounds a week. But it wouldn't be something that I would, stick with. I have a lot of fat storage that I'd love to be able to burn as I do my workouts and get the sleep that I can fuel my workouts and the nutrition. So it'll be a good fit. I'm pretty sure it's a good fit for me in terms of my wanting to drop just a little bit more weight every week.
Okay. Tom asked, how is Jesse's sleep going? Are you in bed these days? The people want to know if you're sleeping in a bed or if you're sleeping in your chair. So good to see you turn your life around. Massive inspiration. Yes. Jesse. Thanks, Tom. Great question.
Yeah. I'm still sleeping in my recliner, but I'm sleeping more. I actually got a couple of readings on my Whoop band that said that I'm starting to hit restorative sleep, which is good news because I use a CPAP, and one of my goals is to get off of that darn CPAP because it's really it does have a direct effect on my restorative sleep. I'm getting 100%, 90 to 100% sleep every night because I'm going to bed like around 9:30. My total late night deadline is 10 p.m., but I'm going to sleep around 9 p.m. to 9:30 and getting a lot of much needed sleep and starting to hit the restorative.
So this is huge for two reasons. One, when Jesse started using Whoop, it basically just said he was dead and it didn't show any data.
Nothing.
And for restorative sleep, it showed that he got 0 restorative sleep. So imagine you have the 4 sleep stages, which is you're awake, which happens a ton at night. So awake, light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. So for the deep sleep and the REM sleep, which is necessary for, storing memories, just basically rebooting your body, Jesse had no restorative sleep. So if you looked at his sleep, it would be, 8 hours of sleep that he got, and it would basically all be light sleep, no restorative sleep. And now he's finally getting restorative sleep. So this is like a huge shift. Yeah, really big deal. Jesse, and also your bedtime shifting is huge because this was one of the biggest issues that Jesse had was staying up, watching stuff on your phone, right? And 11 p.m. would be early bedtime for Jesse. So 9:30 now is like a new person.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Way to go, Jess.
Get that.
Yes, make a Whoop group. Okay. I see all the exclamation marks. We will make a Whoop group. Thank you for the suggestion. Whoop. There it is. Okay. Sharon says, love the hearts. Thank y'all. Okay. How do you manage cooking 2 different meals and have space for all food storage? And Jesse, have you had improvements with CPAP and having different sleeping arrangements? Okay, so first question, managing cooking 2 different meals and having space for all the food storage. Great question. So I'm thinking about this nutty pudding and super veggie. For the nutty pudding, I feel that it's pretty doable. We buy all of our dry ingredients in bulk and it's just in the cabinet. My next step is to put it in containers, and then you just have a container of macadamia nuts, your flax seeds, your chia seeds. But we just have those in the cupboard. And then making space for the food prep is actually not too bad. Just put the dry ingredients in little cups with lids on them. And I just put them kind of up top in my cabinet so I can pull it out easily and make my smoothie. So that hasn't been a very big deal. And then for the super veggie, it's actually been pretty manageable. These days I make a pot of lentils for about 3 days worth of lentils. So the lentils are dry otherwise. And then I just have a little pot in the fridge. And then the vegetables are what takes up the most space in the fridge. So basically almost my entire fridge is just vegetables, like cut vegetables ready to go. I haven't had that much of an issue with space. Have you?
No, I'm the only one in my apartment, so I got plenty of space.
I would say the one thing where it did make space a little bit tricky was when we were food prepping for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
That took up a lot more space because you have these individual containers with food and they just take more space. So a way of saving space and making food a bit more fresh has been food prepping twice a week, mainly twice a week. So the food is slightly fresher and it takes up less space in the fridge. Okay, Prometheus asked, I have already been taking a lot of supplements. Is it suggestion to go off them before the baseline blood tests? Oh, interesting. You okay if I take this one?
Please do.
Yeah, I would say if you've been taking them for a while and they've been working for you, maybe just continue them until your blood test. And then if you decide to go off of them, then getting a blood test later without them so that you can compare. I think the main reason people take supplements is the assumption that it is helping them. So it would be interesting to see a comparison of when you're taking your supplements, what happens. Are your markers a lot better? And then when you are living without them, how does that compare? Yeah, that would be my answer.
Yeah.
Have any? Okay. All right. Leanne said, LOL, y'all make a great team. The Sierra and Josie show. Thanks, Leanne. We make a great team because both of our responses singing. Okay. Monique. Oh, yes, with the hearts. Monique said, you're both so lovable. Thank you, Monique. And do you meditate or have contemplation or contemplative practices that expand consciousness like Brian? I can answer that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of meditation. One, because it's helpful and grounding. Two, the neuroscience research behind meditation is just so clear at this point. And actually, when I was at Brown has a lab that focuses on the effects of meditation on things like depression and other health issues. And there's just so much research that shows meditation really just helps stabilize us. And then the expanded consciousness side, yeah, connecting to the energy source of the universe is an awesome thing. And it's so easy to miss out on that when you're just, on the computer and looking around and on social media. It's so easy to forget what it feels like to be connected. So yes, love meditation. Currently, I've been doing it for about 10 minutes in the morning before I start work. And this is not technically meditation, but just helping slow things down and ground, reset the nervous system is a NSDR, non-sleep deep rest, 20-minute session before going to bed. So listening to a YouTube video, NSDR session on just listening to it before bed, winding down, and then going to sleep. That's a really nice way to just calm everything. What about you? What's your take on meditation and expanded consciousness?
Well, when I was working at Stanford in the Cultivating Compassion training,
Jesse does this to me every time.
No, but actually I did learn some meditation, grounding techniques, lots of deep breathing techniques to help me throughout the day. Starts the day off, keeps me grounded, keeps me in a good space as I begin the day. But throughout the day, especially doing the deep breaths, I don't know if it's called box breathing, but it definitely, there's a lot to be said about the science and the effect of the parasympathetic nervous system. Like you said, when you slow your heart rate, decrease your blood pressure. Because I know personally, I am on limbic brain the majority of the day, and that's no way to live.
And it's crazy because people that meditate a lot, like hours and hours a day, actually, well, there needs to be more research around this, but they tend to need less sleep. So when I was 18, I was living in a monastery for just a month. It wasn't like a whole lifetime, but it was the craziest thing because I was meditating 12 to 14 hours a day per their recommendation and only needing about 3 hours of sleep a night. So if there is a way to just like slow things down and require less energy, it is to meditate and just let your brain heal itself. Okay. Great questions. Loving these. Catherine says, love that cookbook. Vegan keto. Yes. Great cookbook. Okay. Natalie says, seems like y'all have worked on building intrinsic motivation. Would you say this is how you're approaching it? Do you find yourself susceptible to external influences, appearance, social validation, etc.? So do you feel you have intrinsic motivation? And how do you feel about external influences? Like, do you think about how you look? Are you doing it for the
Always.
social?
I mean, not completely. And I think in the beginning, I think for most of my life, I've been motivated by how I look, how I fit in, how I don't fit in, how I don't have the right look. But, recently working a 12-step program, working in compassion training and doing this is a total, it's a totally different paradigm. I'm not doing this so that I can look good. I mean, that would be great. I'm going to be swollen, ripped. I don't know if that I need any of that, but I'm motivated by doing this work with love and with compassion, um, and with possibility. That is a new paradigm for me. And, it's evident. It's actually evident in the 12-step program. They have a thing called the promises. I've seen the promises come through for leading and living with love and intention. So that's like my new intrinsic, location.
Yeah, the intrinsic motivation for me is to feel good. That's the main one. I just want to feel good. And I know if I do these things, I will feel good. But also, life gets in the way. That's why we try to do as much as we can in the morning, because I know once the stress starts to build over the day, it gets harder and harder to get to the gym. So, yeah, I'm like, I want to feel good. Okay, let's do this right away. All right, I feel great. Woo! Okay, I'll do it again tomorrow. So that's helped. Jesse being there is a instant motivator because I don't want him waiting for me, and I got to show up if Jesse's outside for me or outside waiting for me. And the external influences are so real. Oh my gosh, especially with social media. You see all these like beach bods and the babes and the people telling you, well, don't do this kind of squat, do this kind of squat. Don't do like, wow, there's so much happening out there. So I think for me, focusing on what do I really want in life has helped a lot. And what I really want at the end of the day is I want to be able to enjoy my life. I want to be able to enjoy my family and my friends. I want to be able to actually be present and like, have you ever been around people and you're there, but you're not really there and you're not actually having a good time because your brain is just anxious or whatever? I'm trying to just let those things go. I want to just really be feeling good when I'm with my family. So that's the main thing long term that I'm hoping for. And I want to live a long life. I want to have my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids. Like Jesse is a great grandparent. And I want to be that like grandma, who's just like, yes, kids, and like still has energy and is like, let's play. And, I want to be a great grandma, even though I don't have kids yet. But that's the vision long term. Okay. All right. So hi from Morocco, North Africa. I love Morocco.
Hey, Morocco.
Morocco is the best.
I
Woo!
love Moroccan food.
Got those tagines. Jenna said, you both really inspire me. I've been dealing with chronic pain, moved back home to try to get it figured out at a research hospital, and your videos remind me that I can still be healthy at my own pace. Yes, Jenna!
Yes, indeed.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, Jen said, are you both still on the Green Giant? No, not taking the Green Giant since Brian discontinued it. Thank the Lord.
Amen.
We were struggling with the Green Giant. It just, the taste was not getting better. It was not getting better for either of us.
And then you
got like the green, like your whole mouth is green,
Yeah.
and then around your lips is green. I was like, wow, not my favorite. So when Brian discontinued it, sorry,
I didn't mind the Green Giant. It was when the spermidine.
Yeah.
I was like, it was just yucky.
Yeah. Yeah, the spermidine specifically was the bad actor. but we discontinued it the same way Brian did, which is just breaking up the ingredients, putting it in different places. So collagen peptides, protein powder, and some creatine, mixing those up as a pre or post-workout drink. That's worked for us. And then the amino acids he just cut completely. So we cut that as well. Okay. Leanne, have you calculated how much protein you're getting on the Blueprint diet and or your modified diet? Yeah, so the way we've been tracking this is MyFitnessPal, inputting the meals in there and just seeing what's the macronutrient breakdown and then how many grams are we getting. And yeah, that's the thing that we're wanting to make sure that we're getting enough protein. One, because it's satiating, but two, just maintaining our muscle mass. We don't want to lose muscle because I lost muscle in my legs. I'm really trying to avoid that. Okay. Sharon, great questions, comments, everyone. This is awesome. And welcome to everyone that just joined. If you have any questions, just put a Q and then your question, and we'll be sure to get to it. Sharon said, you both really encouraged me to make subtle changes to my life. Yes. Sierra's comment, using what I have. Then I began with the purchase of spirulina and spermidine grounding sheet on Amazon. That's awesome. Nice. Yes. Little changes, using what you have. That's so great. I'm very happy for you. Okay. Question. How do you have the time to juggle a full-time job, research all the health stuff, create these wonderful videos, and have time for your family and friends while still getting 100% sleep score? That is the question.
With great difficulty. With great difficulty. Sierra, with great difficulty.
Well, you too. I feel like there's an emotional component.
There is an emotional component, but you're doing all the heavy lifting with all the science and all the logistics and all the strategies and all the planning and all the coursework.
But I'm going to advocate for you here, which is you're making these huge life shifts, which takes a lot of focus, a lot of energy. So yes, I am organizing and doing all this stuff, which I'm happy to do. And
raising two.
You should get more credit.
But you're raising two chihuahuas, little chihuahuas in your life now.
Yeah, I have two little dogs. They're very cute, but they require some training, which I'm happy to do. How do I juggle these things? That is a great question. Honestly, I'm still figuring out how to do all of that in a sane way. I would say in the beginning, when we first started doing these vlogs, it just was insanity, and I wasn't really sure how to make it work. The main thing that I aim to keep consistent is the drum beats in my life. So the biggest drum beat being my bedtime. So doing everything in my power to get to bed by 9 p.m. And then the second thing is being highly organized. So it's hard to carve out time when it feels like there's so much happening. But if I take time in the morning when I am my most awake, less stress on my body, if I take out time in the morning to carve out time to plan, that has really helped me. So I can plan my week, I can plan my month, I can plan my day. And then the other thing is, this one is also so hard to do when it feels crazy, like there's so much, is instead of trying to do everything, just trying to do the important things. So identifying what is actually important. What do I actually need to do? For example, I have a habit of looking at YouTube comments like every 5 minutes. Like I'll just be in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, looking at you, I'm looking at, and I really don't need to do that. Like that's something that's not a high leverage or high impact activity. It's better to just take 30 minutes once a week, answer as many questions as I can, and do it that way. So I'm really trying to shift my time to be spent on what actually matters and things that are high impact that get us to our goals. For example, post a vlog every Sunday. What's going to get me there? Any comments?
No cap.
Yeah. But I am looking forward to the day when YouTube is my full time thing. Because it'll be nice just to focus on one area. All right. You guys rock for all that you do. So inspirational. Thank you. Way to go, Jesse, says Vince. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Siberia Dreams says, Sierra, do you feel hungry a lot? I do not feel hungry a lot. One thing that I do that I know suppresses hunger is caffeine. So I do have some green tea. Sometimes I have coffee. So in the morning, if I'm fasting a little bit longer, just a little bit of caffeine after 90 minutes of being up so that you don't have a crash later in the day. So that the adenosine has like flushed out of your system. You need at least 90 minutes. Then some caffeine. Caffeine usually addresses any hunger issues. I also have pretty regulated eating times. So I generally only get hungry right before I'm about to eat. Because when you have regulated eating times, your body starts to adjust to it. So it will increase the amount of hunger hormone ghrelin, like 20 to 30 minutes before you're going to eat at your eating time. So you only feel hungry right before you eat, and then you feel full, and then you're chilling, and then you feel hungry right before your next meal. So I'm not feeling too hungry right now. And we're eating a diversity of plants and have a good breakdown of fat, protein, and carbs. Making sure we have enough protein so we feel satiated. So yeah, I feel pretty okay. What about you?
I'm not hungry all the time, but I am constantly triggered by wanting to or thinking about something to eat. And believe it or not, I'll actually, because I have my designated meal times, and then when I catch myself thinking about food, I'll actually start talking to myself. I'll literally ask myself, so is this a deeper hunger? What's the deeper hunger? What is it that you really need? And I think Sierra busted me a couple of times, maybe
What?
when I was talking to myself.
Oh yeah.
And she looked.
I'll like walk up to Jesse and he's having like a full blown conversation. I'm like, who are you talking to? And he's like, just myself. Talking to myself.
Just saying I don't need Hot Pockets right now.
Yeah, we're both compulsive eaters, so it can get really easy to fall in the trap of like, oh, I need food right now.
Yeah.
That's why we're pretty thoughtful about having our set meal times, no snacking in between, and just making sure we're eating enough calories in our meals. Is there a challenge with using frozen instead of fresh vegetables? I can speak to this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends is the answer. So frozen can be great because oftentimes vegetables, for example, broccoli, it is cut and then frozen. And so it's frozen in time pretty recently after being cut. So it's by the time you eat it, the nutrients are oftentimes denser than, say, broccoli that was cut and then has been exposed to oxygen and it's just regular room temperature and then it's traveled very far to get to you. And that could actually be a lot less fresh than the frozen variation of it. So fresh is a question mark because it depends on what kind of fresh. Is it fresh where it was cut, it's now in a bag, and it's taken a while to get to you and now you're eating it? Or is it fresh as in you got it from the farmer's market, it was picked that morning, and now you're going to make it for yourself? Generally, you can tell these kinds of things by, like broccoli, for example. If you look at the stalk, like the base, you can tend to see how fresh it is just on like what is the color. If it's starting to like get a little bit browner, it's probably older, which means it's likely going to be less nutritionally dense. So yeah, ideal situation would be frozen tends to be a good bet. Or if you have access and the funds to get food from the farmer's market, that is going to be a good bet as well. But honestly, at the end of the day, if the choice is between eating vegetables and not eating vegetables, eating vegetables tends to be good for the microbiome and health. So just doing what you can. This is Boba, everyone. Say hi, Boba. All right. Okay. Stephanie asked, do you use black lentils? They seem harder to find.
Yes, they are.
They are harder to find. We basically only gotten them online, and I will show you the bag that we got. Here, give me one.
I actually found a bag in in Oakland at a place called Whole Foods, also Berkeley Bowl in Berkeley. But look at this bag.
Okay. So this is a 10-pound bag of lentils that we really like. It's nice because it's huge. So you just buy it once and then you have a ton and it's dried. So this is Food to Live. We just got it on Amazon. It is organic black lentils and they taste pretty good. So yeah, if you're committed to black lentils, then this is a great option.
Black lentils. Black lentils are so tasty.
Yeah, much better than the canned, although the canned are fine as well. The only issue with the canned is they tend to be more expensive because obviously if you get a weight in dry, it's going to at least double. And so the cost tends to be lower for the final like cooked version.
Yeah, they tend, when I've gone looking for them, they tend to have like orange or red lentils on regular, other grocery stores.
James asked a question about Brian Johnson's website and selling super veggie and nutty pudding in a shake version. And yes, we know about, he is offering this like powdered form of nutty pudding and super veggie. And I've actually tried it when I was in LA filming with him. He had a tasting the next day after we filmed. So he invited us to that. And it was just an open gathering thing in a park. And so, yeah, tried it. There was also a protein shake that they made. It was quite a feat to get those nutrients into a shake. I know they're really proud of it. And it's a cool concept. Yeah. So, yes, that is a thing. It is cool. They're also doing the experiment where they're having 2,500 people sign up and replacing 400 calories worth with their bundle of 400 calories of the dried, what am I saying? Exactly what you're talking about. The things that he's offering, it's doing an experiment to see the impact on people's health over time. So that's also a thing happening. Okay. Prometheus says, eating out tips. Thai food is easy to get vegan. Steamed veggies, salad with chickpeas, beans, and rice. Sushi places options for vegan. Nice. Thank you, Prometheus. Those were vegan eating out tips. All right. Jack said, I'm in the live stream. Yes.
Yes.
And Jack is batch cooking right now. It's a lot of work.
Ooh, you know it.
Agreed, Jack. But you got it.
Kudos to you.
Yeah, way to put in the time. Prometheus ordered a 25-pound bag of lentils. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I'm so curious. If you could put the link in the chat, I would love to see this 25-pound bag. That's impressive. I don't even know where I put that. Jen said, oh, I just lost your comment. TWE said, how many pounds have you lost, Jesse? You look like a different person. Are you already resting in bed? I remember you sleeping in a recliner. Well, you answered the sleeping in bed part, but yes. How many pounds have you lost? You look like a different person.
33 total pounds. After the 90-day, the first 90 days, I'd actually dropped 7 pounds of what do you call it?
Visceral fat.
Visceral fat, which was huge because when I did my DEXA scan, it came out to I had 10 pounds of visceral fat. So at the end of the 90 days, it showed that I had lost 7 of those pounds and gained 14 in muscle mass. So I'm about to get swole.
Yeah, there have been comments about, do you mind me talking about people making comments about looks?
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah, so there have been comments on some of the videos about Jesse looking the same, which obviously, Jesse, you look different, your face looks different, but like, oh, Jesse looks the same, he hasn't,
right.
His body looks the same. And the first thing that comes to mind is those 10 pounds of visceral fat, which is like a very dangerous zone. Cutting 7 pounds of visceral fat is amazing, and also something that is not obvious to the eye. So visceral fat is the fat that is in and around the organs. It's, as Jesse put it, it's like strangling the organs. It's the most dangerous type of fat. And Jesse was slowly getting rid of that fat. So it's not obvious from the outside, but like a miracle and awesomeness and
Yeah.
health work was happening on the inside. And that's like a very important, incredible step that
Yeah.
happened.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Jen said black lentils are expensive here. Yes. Yeah, they can be expensive. That's true. Ooh, someone mentioned, what do you think about breathing techniques like cardiac coherence? I've never heard the term cardiac
Me
coherence.
neither.
I'm curious to know what that means. But big fan of breathing techniques. Breath work, if someone has not explored breath work, it's definitely worth exploring. It is incredible. If you do a breath work session, you can end up crying and like grieving the loss of people, and you're just like, it takes you to another place. So the power of breath is pretty incredible, especially when done in a specific way. So big fan of breath work in general and the healing aspect of it. Okay, Amanda said, can't stay on, but wanted to say I love you. This is kind of share I like to see on YouTube. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
You, Brock. All right. Who wrote the book? I'm assuming you mean the vegan keto book. Woo! Dropping things. Vegan keto. Who wrote it? It's by Liz McDowell. Vegan keto is by Liz McDowell. Yeah, she had this whole health lifestyle change, and yeah, it really helped her. So she wrote a book about it. Liz McDowell. Okay. Natalie said, thanks for your vulnerability and generosity of time and learning. So thanks, Natalie. Okay. Hallie said, right on, Jesse, 31 years and 12-step program. Totally turned my life around.
Yes.
Nice. Eat.
Yes.
All right. Didn't need to say eat. All good. Yeah. Totally turned your life around. Yes. 12-step programs. There's something to it, especially the spiritual component.
Whew.
Is pretty incredible.
Life-saving.
Ooh. You are welcome to Morocco anytime for tagine or couscous. Yes, absolutely.
Gosh.
And Sharon purchased a slanted board to do squat exercises. Sweet.
Ooh.
Nice. Okay, and there's a question. Jesse, are you going to experiment with the hair protocols, like the gray hair reversal that Brian has mentioned?
On the first 90 days, I actually did. I was taking that supplement. Think it made a difference?
Oh, do I?
Yeah, to me.
I mean, I didn't monitor that closely. I don't think a huge difference.
I know I did notice more hair growth in my ears and nostrils.
Nice.
That was a joke. I joke when I get nervous. But I really, honestly, full disclosure, I really wasn't as interested, just made it part of just following the protocol. And look at my hair right now. How you doing? How you doing over here, Joey Buttavuco over here?
Okay. And then, very nice. Starship said, thank you for fitting the queue at the front. Why do you think is the biggest reason your pace of aging hasn't gone down? Yeah, so Jesse's went down a lot. Mine stayed the same. And I think because of the added stress on my body, the caloric restriction, changing the eating window, just all of it. I think also the first 45 days, it was, the first 6 weeks or so, we're trying to figure out how to vlog, how to piece these things together. And honestly, I think by day 45, I was pretty tired. And then there's just the added stress of the caloric restriction. We had different responses to it. So Jesse's bodily response and response all around to caloric restriction was much chiller. That was my understanding, right?
Yeah,
he just
absolutely.
He just felt more chill about it. Whereas for me, it felt intense. And, Jesse's also a man, I'm a woman. And our specific bodies just responded differently. He did not lose muscle mass. I lost some muscle mass. So I think all of those changes for my specific body was a lot. And so I was doing healthier things than before, but my stress was also higher than before. So my guess is that's why it stayed the same. Okay. All right. Oh, Catherine was saying the cookbook I was talking about is Samin Nosrat's book, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Great book, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. If you want to learn the science of cooking and look at beautiful drawings, that book is it. Samin Nosrat also lives in Berkeley, which is where we live.
Wow.
All right. Can you take this? Yeah. Can you answer a question?
Sure.
Hey,
Let's
little one.
see. I'm 65, so
Okay.
I'm not as adept as Sierra.
Okay. Beck asked, would like to know about Jesse's changes with his diabetes. How has his A1C, how has that come down?
My A1Cs are still not where they need to be, but let's just say that a year and a half ago, they were like at 11.
Oh, sorry.
And 11 is like a deathly place to be. Now they're at 7. And my doctor really, I need to be down like towards 6. My meds have decreased. My insulin doses have decreased. The doses of metformin that I was taking daily has been cut in half. So I'm seeing changes, evidence of making some real healthy progress, along with just the weight and the mobility. So the one thing that I still, and I think it's just gonna take time, is some of the mild neuropathy that I do have in my feet, where they're kind of sensitive, really sensitive from time to time. They'll just be really filled with pain, and I have to just keep my legs elevated. So I know that if I keep doing, as I keep, not if, and there ain't no if about this, as I keep doing this protocol, it's going to only get better. And I'm looking forward to just keep reversing some of the trends of the diabetes, the high blood pressure, and just my general health.
Nice. Very cool. Alan said, Sierra, mouth care routine when? Great question. Yeah, I love the oral care routine.
Oral care.
It's great to have. That's one way to really just be on top of health in an unexpected way, having great oral care. When are we going to talk about it next? That's a great question. If that's something that is of interest, let us know in the chat.
Oh yeah,
because we can always talk about oral care routine stuff any point in time. Some fun things we've been doing with oral care. One thing was actually recommended in a comment of the video, which was to put the tea tree oil in the water pick. So we use a handheld water pick rather than one of the basins that like sit on the counter, just because you can walk around using your water pick. It's smaller. I live in an 800 square foot apartment, so I definitely think a lot about size. So yeah, handheld water pick, putting the tea tree oil in that's been great. One thing I need to upgrade is I do have an electric toothbrush, but the head doesn't turn. The head just like shakes in place, which is fine. You still get the vibrations, but like the better version would be to have a head that spins. So I just need to switch out my toothbrush. Other things, yeah, tongue scraper, love the tongue scraper. It's so cool to get all that yuckiness off, especially early morning. You've been sleeping all day. There's been a bunch of bacteria accumulating on your tongue. So waking up, scraping the tongue, that has been great. Okay. New Day said, it's 7:41 here. Are we close in time? Yes, we are 1 hour apart. We are 1 hour behind you. Okay. Duarte Santos said, I know Brian talks about beating death, but I believe the most important underlying goal is to increase lifespan with quality. So I ask from 1 to 10. I love the phrasing of this question. So I ask from 1 to 10, how much would you say your life quality increased?
I don't know how to answer that. Let me answer it as a Pacific Islander. Mo better, the kind mo better. I would say like 100% better. Where honestly, going from no exercise, no sleep, brutal nutrition to a full turnaround in an active lifestyle of good sleep, good workouts, and good nutrition. It's changed everything. So I'd say 100%.
Yeah, for me, I would say at this stage right now, which is post 90 days, maybe a 6 or 7. And the reason why I say that versus a 10 is because I feel that I am still trying to figure out how to have balance. So we've been super regimented these first 90 days, to the point where I saw my in-loves today, and we were talking at this Aztec dance ceremony, and I was like, I think I need to have more fun. And my mother-in-law was like, yeah, you do need to have more fun. And I was like,
No
oh,
cap.
okay, I guess. All right. The point being is, like, we have been super disciplined just to get these habits set up. But I don't feel, for me personally, that I've found the balance quite yet, to the point where I can just relax into the routine. So I think once we've done it for longer, maybe 9 months or something like this, I think at that point it will start to feel more relaxed, more freeing, versus in the beginning it takes a lot of thought and effort. So, but definitely headed in a good direction, and the extra energy feels great. Okay. Beck said, "Hi, would like to know about Jesse's." We talked about your diabetes. Great questions, everyone.
Thank you.
Loving this. Maria asked, like, the super veggie, why not make it into lentil soup and lentil patties?
Ooh, good question.
It's a great idea.
I'll be right back.
Yes. While Jesse's using the restroom, lentil soup sounds fantastic. And especially in these winter months, I see no reason why we can't just make lentil soups and soups in general. It's such a great way to get veggies, get broth more liquid. So definitely a fan of that. That's a great idea, Maria. Okay, I'm going to continue on with the questions I can answer. Loving these questions. Any advice for people who hate exercising? Oh my gosh, I hear you on this one. I'm going to leave this for Jesse, because Jesse was not exercising really at all before we started this challenge. So I'll let him answer that. Prometheus says, Jess is a class clown. Yes, he is a constant jokester. Okay. How have your energy levels been with the diet? Very consistent. Yeah, I've noticed that mainly with whole foods, plant-based in general, is just very consistent energy levels. That paired with really great sleep and consistent exercise is solid. The one time I've noticed there is generally a dip in energy is after doing high intensity interval trainings. So the days where we do weights and sprints, usually an hour or two afterwards feels sleepier. That's why a lot of people, if they do weights or heavy lifting or intense sprinting, they oftentimes do it later in the day, like 3 or 4, just because it can make you feel sleepy. And that can be a nice natural way to then just transition right into bed. So other than that, energy has been good. It just dips at that point. BB asked, what is your eating window? Jesse and I have different eating windows. I'm doing more of a 16-8. So I'm starting around 10-ish, 11-ish, ending by 5. And Jesse is doing a 24, which is a 1 to 5. You're doing 1 to 5, right?
Yeah.
No. Sorry, you're ending at 1.
Yeah.
What are you doing? 10 to 1?
10 to 1.
Yeah. Just to maximize the fat burning part.
However, when I do a workout in the morning, I will do like a protein shake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a protein shake would break the fast. Okay, great questions. How hard has it been to stick to the protocol during more challenging times?
Hard as hell. Hard as hell. I mean, none of it's easy. None of it's easy. Accomplishing the 90-day, doing chapter 2 of the 90-day will have the same hazards. I'll have the same temptations to use food as a coping mechanism. That makes it super difficult for someone who's compulsive, someone who uses food, thinking about food. The kinds of food that I think about is not super veggie or nutty pudding or the healthy things that I've been doing through the protocol. So it's always a challenge. It's never easy, but I don't even look at it as such. I just think, what's the right thing to do? How am I going to eat from love? How am I going to, use this structure that's been given to me as the gift that it is, and and do my best. And every now and then, when I do, like last night, I had a cup of tea. I knew that it wasn't my meal time, but I could have a cup of tea, and that sort of settled my thoughts about eating.
Great answer.
Thanks.
Don asked, does Brian Johnson really look like a vampire in real life? Oh, lols. And Sierra, did you check your neck for bite marks after you left his house? This is so funny because
God,
going on this trip to Brian Johnson's house and all the time being there, the prep beforehand, I got endless jokes from friends about Brian Johnson being a vampire. And what's so fascinating is a lot of people are like, Brian Johnson, yeah, I know who he is. He's the blood guy. Something with blood, takes his son blood. Like, that's the only thing they know about him. They're like, so what protocol are you doing? What is happening? So yes, lots of jokes about Brian Johnson sucking my blood or me ending up in a basement. Heard a lot of that leading up to the
Sweeney
trip.
Todd. But he's a nice man.
But he's totally a nice person.
I got to talk to him on FaceTime. He was so kind.
Totally a nice person.
Yeah.
Big fan. I can understand the vampire jokes because he's very pale and he put his son's platelets inside of him. So, he's kind of asking for those jokes. But yeah, super, super nice guy, very open, very welcoming, and, determined on a mission. And there was a question earlier about Liza was asking, any advice for people who hate exercising?
Ooh.
That's there.
Yeah. Holy smokes. You don't, to those folks, I would say you don't hate exercising. It's the thought of feeling discomfort. It's the thought of breaking your routine, breaking the pattern. I know that I was not exercising because I had a payoff. By not exercising, I could shut down. I could keep myself in crisis mode because I would just kill time. I was a time murderer. And then I'd just be on pure adrenaline. I was a junkie adrenaline, but that would drain me. And I would only have enough energy to do the stuff that I needed to do way before. So it would just cut down all the other time that I had to enjoy my family, to do things that I really enjoyed. So it's not that you hate working out, you hate exercise. It's that you have to reframe it and do it in a way that'll fit. And for me, the way to do it was, I'm going to exercise not because I have to or I need to, because I am caring for myself. I'm doing it with self-love. It's an act of self-love and self-compassion. That's the only thing that I think changed the game for me. And of course, being in the buddy system with the greatest buddy ever.
I think that's a natural transition to just touch on the Atomic Health Party for just a moment or two, and then we'll go back to regular questions. But the reason we even came up with Atomic Health Party in the first place, which is a 6-week course that's going to start in 2 weeks. The cart closes today to sign up for this, the group that we got that's about to start, is because when I first thought about doing the 90-day challenge, I thought this is such a cool idea. I totally think this would be great, but I don't want to do it at all. I wanted to have it out there.
Right.
I wanted to go through with it, but I didn't actually want to do it. So I was like, how can I get myself to actually do this difficult thing? And then I thought about inviting someone, and then I thought about Jesse, and that changed everything for me. As soon as I thought about doing this protocol with Jesse, it got me excited. So I went from like, no, I don't want to do this at all, to, oh my gosh, let's do it. We'll do it together. This will be such a cool thing, and we'll unlock motivation. And that is exactly what has happened for both of us in this crazy way, which is by being in community, we have access to energy and motivation like we've never had before. And it has enabled us to actually make real change in our life that has stayed consistent. And so when others have asked, like, how can we get into action with you?
Right.
We wanted to provide something, not just like here's this one little thing or whatever. We wanted to provide a space to be in community with people where we're actively taking action to change our habits for the better. And we're talking about, like, what is the dream for yourself? What is the vision for your life? What does the healthiest version of yourself look like? And how can we get you there together as a community? And we're all striving to be our healthiest self together. So we found this huge unlock with the buddy system. So we want to be buddies for others in a very active way. So that is why we created this 6-week course, which is, it's going to be a small group of people, around, well, we'll see the final numbers, but we want to cap it at around 20 or so. And the goal is for us to be your buddies and to start to set up these systems and to work through things together. We want to make it as easy as possible. And we're looking to promote some real results in the same way that we've seen some serious, real life-changing results. So no one should ever be left behind. That is my worst nightmare. I would never want Jesse to be like left or forgotten or anything. I wouldn't want to be left or forgotten. So that's the whole concept of this course, is that we're in it together. We're going to figure it out no matter what. It doesn't matter what level you're starting at. In fact, if you're just starting off with exercising or you haven't been in a while, that's great. We will take those first steps together, no matter how small. And we also want to help avoid the thing that often happens, which is trying to take a huge chunk. So going from, not exercising at all to 6 days a week, ultra endurance athlete, I'm going to go. And then that petering out after 3 months. We're looking to make slow, small changes that build on top of one another, which actually takes a lot of discipline to do that. So we're putting the systems in place in community to make it easy and fun to start to build our routines over time and compound.
We're not asking anyone to hit the bullseye. We're just encouraging and inviting people to show up. Like, I know folks who said, I'm not ready. I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to start and then fail. None of that. We're here, like Sarah said, to meet you where you are. And that's where we're going to start. Yeah. And it's not going to be, we're not promising any quick fixes, any silver bullets or anything like that. What we are guaranteeing that we are going to be ridiculously present and encouraging and affirming.
And we expect failure to be a part of it. Falling down on your face. That's what's been so helpful for us. There's so many times I've been crying, calling Jesse, like, it's horrible, or I can't do this, or I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And maybe I should just give up now. But being in community, there's something magical about that, is when you go through these hardships and you sink a little bit, there are people to actually pick you up and lift you out of that. So you're not alone in the struggles. The struggles are still there, but you get out of them easier. And we help each other through that. Yeah.
I just think there's a mindset that we have to do it ourselves somehow. There's some message out there that somehow we have to pick ourselves by our bootstraps. And I don't think that's how it works. We're a community. We get things done together.
Yeah. We can go fast alone, or we can go far together.
Ooh.
And the goal with Atomic Health Party, that's an African proverb, just throwing that down. The goal with the Atomic Health Party is we're trying to go far.
Yeah.
And we're trying to go far together. So just the last note on this is the pinned comment. There's a link to the page that has all the details. The cart closes tonight at 9 p.m. PST. So that's the final chance to join. If it doesn't feel like a good fit, absolutely no pressure, no worries at all. We'll be here every single Sunday. We'll be doing live stuff like this. We will be here in all the ways we can to support. But if you are looking for community and to be with other like-minded people to take action, then this is an option, and we would love for you to join. So just click the link and find out more. Take it from there. If anyone has any questions about the Atomic Health Party, we want to make sure nothing's confusing. So if you got questions, put them in the chat and we'll answer them. But in the meantime, we'll get off our soapbox. Let's continue on with these questions. And yeah, and thank you all. All right, Nathan said, about to head out because it's close to my bedtime, but I don't want you to forget to make a Whoop group. Okay,
Whoop, whoop.
We'll make that Whoop group. And yes, consistent bedtime. Keep to it. All right, Starship said, has Blueprint significantly affected sexual performance or arousal? Great question. Yeah, sex questions I think are great. It's good to talk about these things. I could say for me, in general, my body feels healthier and I'm stronger and my core is stronger. So that tends to lead, if people are okay with this kind of conversation, it might be TMI, but obviously if you have stronger core muscles, that can lead to stronger orgasms. So that's great. I would say in general, there's a lot happening in my life currently. Sorry, Jess. Sorry about that. Well, just letting the people know. But in my life, there's the full-time job, the YouTube channel, and Atomic Health Party. So I don't have that much time to get it on, to be honest. But I would say in general, just being stronger physically and feeling more attuned to my body is really great. It's great for that. It's great for all aspects of life. Do you have any thoughts on sexual performance or arousal?
I've been really trying, baby.
Trying to hold back this feeling for so long. And if you feel
like I feel, come on.
People are like, I did not come for this.
Yeah. And we are not a couple.
All right, what? Okay, was that your response?
I do have a girlfriend, though. I have a girlfriend.
You do have a girlfriend. Okay, I'm gonna assume by the singing that we'll move on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
hey.
Sharon is in Indiana. Nice, Sharon.
Go Hoosiers.
Cute puppy. Thank you. This is a new doggy, still not yet to be named. But we got her last week. It's been great. I love being a dog mom. Maria asked, were you sore? How long before that stopped? So, soreness. I think we can both speak to this one.
Yeah, in the beginning, there was definitely...
I'm just laughing because one day before we were going to work out, Jesse turned to me and he was like, I have this weird feeling in my arms where they feel like they hurt, but it's not like a sharp pain, but they just kind of feel like they hurt. And I was like, yeah, you mean you're sore? Like you're sore, you have sore muscles? He's like, oh, is that what it is? So 100%. Yes, the soreness has been there. And especially now we're starting to like increase intensity, making sure, that we are making those micro tears in our muscles so that they can grow stronger. So being sore is a part of it. That's partly why we're doing sauna as a recovery. Epsom salt baths are also great for just like relaxing the muscles, having them not feel as sore. So I do those things. I wouldn't say the soreness has stopped. It's kind of a consistent thing based on how hard you go. It hasn't been too bad because we're not doing heavy lifting, but it's definitely there. Like I can feel it in my legs right now, in my calves.
I can feel it in everywhere. Did a lot of leg work yesterday. But it does get better. I mean, in the beginning, the first week was really tough for me. but I could tell with each day it was easier because I was building capacity, definitely building capacity. And holy smokes, before I knew it, I was doing all kinds of stuff, getting out of the car going, hallelujah, I could get up and in and out of my car without feeling like I'm going to fall down. I'm not, just huge difference after the first week. The soreness is part of it, but it's not like we're asked, this is not about getting ripped or getting swole. It's baby steps, incremental steps, and then we find our way.
Although you will get ripped and swole. Just wait. We mentioned this once before, but basically Jesse and my commitment is, our expectation is this is going to be a 2-year transformation for Jesse in particular. We have great goals and aspirations. Jesse has a desire to be, you okay if I speak to this?
Yeah, absolutely.
To be a physical trainer for people of size. So we want to catalog his journey, which we're expecting to take 2 years. And just each week we got a video with, Sierra and Jesse and the cool changes that are happening.
Woo.
So
is that Jesse from Cirque du Soleil?
People are going to be like, Jesse, what? Who? Is that you? Tom asked, what kind of scales do you use? Jesse and I share a scale because we bought the Withing scale, which is very expensive. That's the one that Brian uses. And it has all kinds of measurements. It measures your BMI, your water, fat percentage versus bone percentage. It has lots of measurements. Did we need that particular one? It also connects to an app on your phone so you can review the results. After having it, I don't feel like necessarily we needed that specific one.
Yeah.
And like maybe it's a little bit more accurate, but in terms of fat percentage and bone percentage versus, these kinds of things, we have used a DEXA scan. That's been the most accurate way to get the body fat muscle percentage. And that's how we determine the visceral fat, is a DEXA scan. So we did one at day 1, day 90, and then we'll get another one at day 180.
Copy that.
Yeah. DEXA scans are super helpful and pretty reasonably priced too. Okay, great questions, y'all. Don said, what's the funniest, weirdest comments you've had from family, friends when you tell them you're doing Blueprint and what it entails? And have you converted anyone in the process? Oh. Any weird comments?
Dad, why can't you just have regular food on your birthday or Christmas or Thanksgiving or, why do you have to still eat that stuff? Can't you take a break? And the answer is you can. However, the plan is 90 days and there are things you just want to adhere to. So we did Blueprint on our birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. It was so weird, but good.
Yeah, I think the main weird comments I've gotten is around Brian. So when I explain what it is, and they're like, Brian Johnson, and people have all these different opinions about him. Those are generally the weirdest comments. The vampire comments, my blood being stolen, that kind of stuff, which is obviously all in good fun. I have not converted anyone yet. The main reaction to it is, wow, that's intense. I could never do that. And I think because the way it's positioned is very detailed and a lot of people would have to make a lot of changes. But in reality, it's not actually that much. It's just staying consistent bedtime, whole foods diet, and exercising. A lot of people do that already. So it's like things like the supplements where people are like 100 supplements a day, but you don't need to do that. So but I think that's where the weird comments come from, is the blood stuff, the supplements, the penis stuff, all of that. But definitely family members have an interest in healthier habits. My mom is joining the Atomic Health Party, so that's going to be cool. So she's going to be getting into action with us. So yes, some changes are happening. Starships said, Do you find it difficult to have friends or family who, oh, thank you.
There's a kiss.
Thank you. Do you find it difficult to have friends or family who don't eat similar or live a similar lifestyle to Blueprint?
No, not I mean, not at all. With the exception of we're very selective. Like when we're going to go to a restaurant, it's rare that I will go because I'll have my own food. But my two daughters, who are my closest relatives geographically, they're totally down with it. They know that they see that their dad is doing some remarkable things. So I know. So I think it's so far so good.
I find it super difficult. Yeah, because I love food. And I'm not one of those people who's like, food is fuel and that's it. I'm like, I want the taste. I want it all. Give me the mac and cheese. Yeah. And my spouse eats a lot of really delicious foods. He makes, these beautiful egg tacos every morning. He makes these incredible stewy, meaty things. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's difficult. I find that challenging, but it's helpful to have some friends that like Jesse who are in it with me, either virtually or in person. All right. Question. Brian is known for extremes, stem cell gene therapy, nighttime erection, laser skincare. How do you determine which of his protocols you will incorporate? I can answer this. So the one thing about these extremes, the main barrier to entry for these is cost. So I have looked at all of these things that he's doing and looked at, okay, what are the actual costs of these? For example, the laser treatment on the skin, that tends to be a laser treatment just on face. And the face alone will be, $500, something like this. So even to get it on your full body, they probably had to have a discussion with whoever was doing the lasers, like, hey, we want to do full body and what is going to be the cost of this? Now he has his own clinic essentially in his home and he has his own laser. So that's how they solved that issue probably of getting someone else to do it in a certain way. I would say for all of these, we are monitoring closely and looking to see what is the impacts for him. What are the things that seem to really make the biggest difference? One of the things that seems to make a big difference is the laser treatment on the skin, because it can change the gene expression of the skin itself. So I am pretty actively looking to see how can we experiment with that in a way that doesn't totally break the bank. So we are interested, or I can speak for myself, I am interested in these kinds of things and exploring it. And we're mainly just looking to see how can we do it for a reasonable cost. So once we figure these things out, we'll share it in the videos because I want to know. So we'll share it out. Okay, what's the best way to break the fast, with protein or fat? Oh, yeah, this is an interesting question. You okay if I take this?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so it depends what kind of fast would be my first answer. Dr. Mindy Pelz has a great series on YouTube about breaking your fast and what things to eat. If it's a really long fast, like more than 24 hours, like a 3-day fast, 5-day fast, 9-day fast, that requires very, very particular way of reintroducing food just because you're so sensitive. So the longer fast looks like, doing something that is fermented first and definitely not having any sugar and not eating foods like eggs that can be really, really hard on the stomach, and starting off slow, easy to digest things. But in terms of just breaking our fast, the shorter fast, like less than 24 hours, honestly, I don't think we think too much about that because we're eating all really nutritious things. Yeah, I just tend to eat my first meal, and the first meal usually has a good balance of protein, fat, and carbs. So that's that, and it feels good. And that's it for me.
Yeah, it's not like we're not eating heavy proteins. We're eating foods that quickly liquefy, with the vegetables and the shakes and that nature. So we have personal experience with breaking a 3-day fast or a 9-day fast.
Oh my gosh.
We learned a lot.
Yeah, Jesse's referencing we did a 9-day fast together before all this blueprint stuff. Jesse was so good. He reintroduced foods very slowly, very gingerly. I was like a rhino. I was like, give me all the food. I immediately started eating nuts, which can be hard to digest. And I had stomach pain, stomach aches. I couldn't go to the bathroom for like days after. And all I wanted was just to eat after 9 days. And I just messed it up. Then I consumed too many psyllium husks. And so my body, like, I got constipated. Just rough. But these shorter fasts are more easeful. Okay. Catherine said, I love how you said that you saved each other's lives. It's true. And oftentimes people are saying like, oh, you know, Sierra, you're so nice to be there for Jesse. Like, that's so great of you, which is so interesting because for me, it's like, this works because it's going both ways. Like, I'm not doing Jesse a favor. It's like, I'm there for Jesse and Jesse's there for me. And together it makes it powerful and sustainable. Someone said, saludos, Sierra. Saludos. Kylie Grace. Be buddies for each other. Bzz, we're in this together. Yes, Alice. Okay. Don. Question for Jesse, and we're coming near the end. Wow, these 2 hours went by so fast.
Crazy.
But we will answer all your questions. So, question for Jesse: with the huge reduction in visceral fat around your organs, have you noticed any changes in your singing voice and ability to regulate breath? Keep up the good work in all caps.
Oh my gosh, great question. Definitely huge noticeable impact on my capacity for breathing. My just to be able to hold the high notes or even to just hold a mid-range note is a new thing. And it's so beautiful. I'm not a trained vocalist, but I've been singing all my life, and I've definitely got a new capacity. And some people say I have quite a soft-spoken voice, but come to one of my shows and you'll go, dang.
You want to sing a note?
Ave suavivere, 24 karat magic in the air.
Wait, that's not how you normally sing.
I know.
He's not an opera singer. But how do you normally sing?
I normally sing. There is.
Oh no! No, keep going.
What?
Sorry. No, keep going. Keep going.
There is a place for the sadness. Hold on to love. There is a season for gladness. Hold on to love.
You wrote that song, right?
I guess so.
Being a songwriter in the house. Yeah. So, fun fact before we finish your questions is Jesse and I both have this background in singing and performing.
Yes.
Yeah, I come from a family where my father was really into singing, and I was all up into show choir. And I'm black and white, and I have this kind of Aretha Franklin vibes, which was great in my mainly all white community because people would be like, "Whoa, the low notes, what is that?" And it was fun. It was fun. So that is in part why we do things like the music video, because we both we have the music video that's out called A Blueprint Rap
that you wrote and produced.
Yes, I did write it, but that's why we have things like that, because singing and song is such a great way to tell a story, and we both love to sing. Yeah. So we'll probably make more songs. If you like songs, let us know.
We'll make it.
We do want to make things that people enjoy, and it's just coming from our heart. That's where it comes from. Leanne said, name suggestion, Boba and Blueprint. Love it.
Oh my gosh.
That's so cute. All right, question. What are your future projects with the YouTube channel? Yeah. So first off, so many people have said, oh, Jesse should have his own YouTube channel, to which I say, absolutely. He should have his own YouTube channel.
Someday.
The reason why Jesse is responding this way is because he knows from seeing me like how much time it takes to actually build a channel, which I think your channel would totally just take off, but it does take a lot of
I might
effort.
just do like a TikTok and put a post-it on my head and we'll say, we'll bark for roses. Something like that.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I truly am, but to see what Sierra does day in and day out scares the heck out of me. Because Sierra puts a lot of hours and her brain works so differently than mine, which is why I so appreciate doing this with her, because I'm bringing my gift and she's bringing a huge gift that I'm totally unaware. It's just out of my skill set. So
yeah, that's why it's this beautiful combination where it's like, oh, this really works and this is good and it seems to resonate. So let's just keep doing it. So that's why we have it on my channel. The idea for the channel in the future is a couple parts. One is to continue vlogs with Jesse for at least 2 years, cataloging his journey over time. I haven't really seen, I guess there are some other channels where there's been some pretty dramatic transformations in a single video. And there's some where it's over time, but there are very few where it's like really showing like on a week-to-week basis, someone changing. So I want to do that because it'll be cool to look back at that and be like, whoa,
yeah,
that's amazing. So there's that for the next 2 years. And then adding some more traditional educational content, just explaining certain things deeper. Yeah, so we're looking to do that. And then adding shorts as well. If there's specific things you want to see, let us know. But definitely looking to grow the channel, provide better and better and better content over time. The team currently is about 3 people. So me and 2 others who focus on the editing and thumbnail and ideas and stuff. And then me and Jesse are the talent. Okay. Okay, great. We'll answer your last. No, we're over time, but we'll answer any last questions. Can you please do a video on buying all the items in the grocery store list, where to buy, what exact brand to buy, like the exact process? Yes, love this. So that's a perfect example of another video that we want to do, like outside of the vlog, is literally just like, here is us at the grocery store, and we're literally walking through with our list. This is how we do it. This is what we think about. Just so I know I would want to see that kind of thing, like not cut up, but literally what's going on. So yes, that's the plan. All right. Nicole asked, what is yours and Jesse's relationship? Great question. Jesse and I are great friends.
Great.
We're
friends.
not a couple, although I understand why that's the assumption with me being a young woman and Jesse being a dude.
Sarah's not even my type. Oh my God.
I can't.
Don't say that out loud.
It wouldn't even. No, Jesse and I are so great as friends. It's like one of the sweetest relationships of all time. There's so much trust and we happen to be 25 years apart, which is super interesting. Right. But met in a 12-step program. I've been friends ever since.
My daughters adore Sierra.
I love Jesse's daughters. Yeah, they're so great. And Jesse is not only a grandfather, but a great grandfather now. So I know it's hard to tell, but the man is 65 and has like so many kids and grandkids.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
All right. Oh, and I'm married. Love my partner. I've been together for 9 years, and Jesse has an awesome, very supportive girlfriend, Joe. Okay, last couple questions. Have you thought about putting your dog on a longevity protocol? Perhaps a whole food plant-based? Oh, that's such an interesting idea.
That is a great idea.
I hadn't really thought about it for the dogs. That's so. Oh, speaking of dogs, that is such a cute concept. I like the idea of exploring that. Okay. Gordon said, love your charisma and approach to transforming health habits. I was already fit, but you got me onto skincare and oral health gadgets. Thanks. Cool, Gordon.
Well, thanks, Gordon.
That's awesome. And Artemis says, have you considered getting your spouse to do some of the same measurements, fitness, blood work, speed of aging, as a comparison, since they are not doing the protocol, but you are, but are around you? You want to answer this while I get the dog?
Sure.
Just talking about Joe.
Wow. Well, Joe had actually considered doing the coursework. She got the invitation, but I do know that she's actually quite involved in her own plan. She's got uh, just a full commitment, is doing amazing stuff with her health, and um, so I'm just glad. I'm glad we're a good fit. She's absolutely delighted about the progress that I'm making with Sierra doing the protocol, and just like, hey, more of it, more of it.
Yeah. So I asked my spouse, I got a Whoop and I was loving it. And I was like, hey, spouse, do you want, would you want a Whoop? You can find out all about your sleep scores. And I was just like pitching it. I was like, you get this. And he's like, why do I need that? I sleep fine. So that is basically the gist of my spouse's response to all of the things I'm doing. We are the opposites in this way. I am an optimizer or a maximizer or whatever it's called. I like want to know all these things, all the data points, all the details. I want to optimize it. And he's like a total opposite. He's like, no, he's a surfer.
Chill.
He's like, I'm good. That's all good. So yeah. Yeah, that's what that is.
Tortillas and eggs.
Tortillas and eggs, yeah. Exactly. Okay, any last questions? And I think we're going to wrap up. Local Stigmatic said, I'm very glad to see you on the live stream. Greetings from Russia. Oh my gosh. Or rather from Siberia. Awesome. Okay, and then tell me, please, I'm wondering, is it normal to prepare super veggies and putting one day and then store them in the freezer? Or do they lose their beneficial properties? Thank you for your content. Yeah, so in the freezer, the food will lose some of its nutritional density. That's definitely something that will happen. Okay, bye, Will. See you later. So yes, yeah, food in general, once you make it, whether you're storing it in the fridge or the freezer, it's gonna lose some of its nutritional value. Ideally, we cook it and then we eat it after. But it kind of depends how much time. If it's a one day, probably not that big of a deal. If it's a week, maybe the food's not going to taste as great. Got some freezer burn or just like it's not good any longer. So if you can cook in like 3-day batch worths and like food prep twice a week, that would be an ideal situation. But if that's what's required for you to be set up for your week is food prepping, putting some of it in the freezer, then I would say go for it, just so you can really make sure you're set and settled. And if it works, it works. That's great. As long as you're eating more veggies and the food that works for your body, that's solid, no matter how you get there. Hope that answers your question. Okay. Stephanie said, you guys are great. Keep up the good work. Love from Montreal. Thanks, Stephanie. All right, y'all. If there are no additional questions, then we're going to head out for the night. The link for the Atomic Health Party is in the chat. The cart closes at 9 p.m. PST, so in an hour and 15 minutes or so. So if you'd like to join us for the 6-week course, we would love to have you. It's going to be a blast. We're going to get into it and lead some solid results. But until then, this has been awesome. I don't know about you, Jesse, but I love these. And connecting with all of you is just the best part of my day ever.
This is so cool.
You're all so amazing. Any final thoughts?
You are our community of choice. Just really appreciate you.
Yeah, you keep us going for sure. Thanks for all your love and for all your support. And we're here for you. If you have any questions, I'm going to put my email in the chat again, but it's support@sierraclark.io. If you want to share with us, somebody emailed us and was like, I just made Super Veggie Hero photos. Like, if you want to email us stuff like this, it's so awesome. We love those emails. If you have a question or a concern, something you're struggling with, whether or not you're joining the Atomic Health Party, just email us.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to answer. Usually respond within 24 hours. Okay. Sending lots of love. Until next time, have a great night. See you later.
Atomic Health Party.